made sure that Mauritania simply had to relinquish their control or annexation of Western Sahara. But Morocco's portion of the Western Sahara that they took over or annexed after Spain had left is that part that contained the phosphate, is that part that contains the agricultural wealth, is that part that contains the water that enables the fishery stock, the sardine and what have you. And so you can see that economically, Western Sahara plays an essential part in the build-up of Morocco, particularly for fish stock, for agriculture, for fertilizer, and what have you. And Morocco is extracting and exploiting the resources of Western Sahara to its own advantage, to the disadvantage of the Sahrawi people. And so, therefore, Morocco is uncompromising in wanting to give up this. So, in 1984, for instance, the Organization of African Unity, now the African Union, admitted Western Sahara as an independent state of the African Union or the Organization of African Unity. Having admitted it, countries like Ghana, Kenya, and many other countries then decided to recognize Western Sahara as an independent state and started giving them consular and embassy acceptance. And so from 1984, Western Sahara has been part of the African Union build-up. Because the African Union or Organization of African Unity admitted Western Sahara, Morocco arrogantly severed relationship with the Organization of African Unity, and by extension severed relationship with the African Union. Morocco started hobnobbing with Europe because they are so close to Europe, wanting to join the European Union. And when everything was done and Morocco failed to be accepted, or the European Union failed to accept Morocco because of geographical location, Morocco was not accepted into the European Union. But Morocco has treaties with the European Union, including the fact that goods coming into Morocco are virtually tax-free, and goods out of Morocco to Europe is also tax-free. And so Morocco is benefiting directly from European, what do I call it, nexus. So when AU decided that they will not admit Morocco as a full member of the European Union, Morocco then came back, working its way into the African Union. Yeah. What the African Union should have done was to tell Morocco that the reason for which you left is that you did not accept that Western Sahara should be an independent nation. And the African Union recognizes Western Sahara as an independent union. And therefore, Morocco should not have been accepted by the African Union in 2017 as a member state, when it was still holding Western Sahara as an occupier state. But the African Union, by some belief, thought that by admitting Morocco, Morocco will now relinquish Western Sahara so that the people will be self-determined, they will have their independence and to move on. Right. Unfortunately, that is not to say. So if you ask me the question, why is Morocco still hanging on to Western Sahara? It is because without Western Sahara, Morocco will not get the sardines and fishes that they get. The agricultural stock, including the phosphate that is used for the manufacture of fertilizer and other things, Morocco will be denied those things. And who cares that Morocco, after everything that you have, you still want to? If Spain left, that is a European country, if Spain left Western Sahara, for it to gain its independence, Mauritania occupied portions of Western Sahara. They left for Western Sahara to gain its independence. What is the business of Morocco constantly and continuously holding on to?
Denying them their
rights of self-determination. So in 1992, for instance, the UN decided that they will bring a roadmap and that the people should do a referendum.
Right. I was going to ask you just about
that referendum should provide a basis for which the people should determine whether they should be part of Morocco, that's as an autonomy, or they should be sovereignty. Now, when they wanted to do the referendum, Morocco said no. The people in mainland Morocco must also vote. And the UN said that is not what it is. It's the people that must determine where they want to belong to. So, for instance, in the 1956 plebiscite in Ghana, when the UN had to conduct the plebiscite alongside, it was the people in those places, right, the German-controlled territories, that needed to do the referendum or the plebiscite to determine whether they wanted to join Ghana to gain independence or they wanted to stay alone. And so when it came to that issue, then Morocco decided that they would threaten and violently oppose the referendum in 1992. And so since then, what Morocco has done is that they have decided to create safe havens along the territories of Western Sahara. And now they are allowing their own citizens, if you agree that you go and be in Western Sahara, then Moroccan government will provide you with everything that you need so that they can increase the population of true Moroccans in case that the UN insistence that there must be a referendum to determine the fate of Western Sahara, then you will see that the Moroccan population in Western Sahara will vote for that referendum that they want to be part of Morocco. And this has been ongoing for a considerable period of time. And I am just sad that African leaders, some of them who have gone through what it is to suffer under colonial rule, will allow another African country to subject and subjugate the people of Western Sahara into colonialism. If we oppose the Europeans, if we oppose the Americans, if we oppose the Arabs, we must oppose any one of our own that want to subject any portion of Africa into colonial subjugation.
Absolutely, absolutely. In your submission, your opening remarks, you touched on the UN's mandates for a referendum and so on and so forth. But that brings me to my next question. In your estimation, why has the UN's mandates for that referendum not been followed?
You remember that in 2018,
right,
I had an unpleasant situation to take 8 countries to court. Including Benin, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Tanzania, Tunisia. I took these countries to court to tell them that you are part of the African Union. You've signed a charter and an agreement that you defend the independence and territorial integrity of other countries within the African Union. And you are watching for Morocco to trample upon the rights to self-determination of the people of Western Sahara. And when the case was determined, Morocco came, like I said, very arrogantly and ferociously, attacking the African Court on Human and People's Rights, telling them that they do not have a locus to make that determination, and that they should allow the AU body, which is just about 54, 55 heads of states, who are by themselves compromised, as we are witnessing in the case of what the Foreign Minister of Ghana has just done, as we have witnessed in what William Ruto has done in Kenya.
Right.
Such sordid representation of true African liberation should never be allowed to sustain. So today, Ghana is agreeing to sign a treaty with Morocco because we are expecting Morocco to give us phosphate, fertilizer. We are expecting some economic benefits. Morocco should do investment in Ghana.
At the expense of another.
At the expense of the people's own self-determination. Right. If any group of people had compromised the independence of Ghana because of economic gains, those who are in the helms of affairs today, parading as ministers and what have you of our state, will not have existed. We will not have been liberated for them to now qualify to become ministers, now to compromise the independence of other countries on the basis of mere potash. It is an insult to the works that Kwame Nkrumah has done. And if President Mahama, who by birth belongs to Kwame Nkrumah's political party, his father, E.A. Mahama, is a minister under Kwame Nkrumah and a minister under President Liman. Under his leadership, true liberation of Africa will be compromised on economic and agricultural gains. Then I think that we are doomed. I am scandalized that President Mahama can appoint a foreign minister who will go and enter into such a treaty and come and the president will sit down and clap for it. It's shameful, it's disgusting that Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana can sit down and worship this kind of agreement. See, Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana led what we call the African Freedom Fighters series. People like Patrice Lumumba were here. They were trained. People like Robert Mugabe was here. People like Kenneth Kaunda, they all came here to learn about revolutionary tactics so that they can go and lead the liberation of their countries.
Right.
Today, Ghana is accepting economic benefits and investment potentials so that the people of Western Sahara can capitulate, they can die. This is not acceptable. And so for me, I feel very ashamed. Very, very ashamed. And I'm certain that the bones of Kwame Nkrumah will not rest.
Absolutely. He's turning in his grave probably.
The bones of Kwame Nkrumah will not rest. That the nation that he founded will come and do such bizarre agreement with Morocco. There's no doubt that Kwame Nkrumah had relationship with Morocco when we're talking about the unification of Africa. But this is not the extent that Kwame Nkrumah wanted it. And so our leaders must rethink the kind of relationship we enter. Right. Otherwise, they're compromising Western Sahara on the basis of economic gain. Tomorrow, somebody will compromise Ghana for the greater good of their people to the disadvantage of the people of Ghana.
And it will come back to hunters indeed. I mean, you speak very passionately about this issue because indeed it's an issue of great importance to all of us as African people who have been on a long walk to freedom and emancipation. We do know that the African people have been waging a war and fighting for their rights and freedom and determination as a people for a very long time. So it's very shocking that we ourselves as Africans will turn our backs on our fellow brother. One of the things that Kwame Nkrumah said was that the independence of Ghana was meaningless unless it was linked to the total liberation of the African people. What do you think is the reason why there's this really shocking move by Ghana and Kenya? I mean, you spoke of the economic gains and so on. Kwame Nkrumah also said
that we prefer independence with danger than servitude in tranquility.
Right.
What our foreign minister has done is that we prefer servitude in tranquility to independence with danger. He has overturned and somersaulted the words of Kwame Nkrumah. If Kwame Nkrumah could make that huge pronouncement of we preferring independence with all the dangers that accompany it, than servitude in tranquility, what do you think that the people of Western Sahara will prefer? They will prefer independence in its fullness that will allow them access to their land, access to their water, access to their economy, and access to their people and their culture, to any form of partial independence on the basis that Morocco should determine for them what they should eat. So Morocco says that no, we will give you governorship. You have internal control. But when it comes to issue of foreign relations, we, Morocco, will take over. When it comes to issues of defense, we will take over. Even culture, Morocco will take over. The people said, no, we want our true independence. And that you, Morocco, was never the original occupier of Western Sahara. They fought the Spanish. They fought Spanish, and Spain left, right, in 1976. Now, as soon as Spain left, because they were regrouping and now coming, Spain could not stand their force. Spain left. Then Mauritania simply occupied a portion. Morocco also occupied a portion. The resistance of the people, Mauritania left. But Morocco, supported by the United Kingdom, supported by France, supported by the United States, because Morocco is a sellout of the Palestinian people, all of a sudden, Morocco is the toast of America and others, and they are giving Morocco all the energy they require in order to subdue the people from their self-determination. And I want to say this clearly, that in as long as the people are willing to self-determine their own destiny. No force. Not that which Ghana has entered into with Morocco. Not that which Kenya has entered into with Morocco. The people of Western Sahara will liberate themselves.
Absolutely.
And they will find those officers who just got into offices for a transient period. It's a short time period. Be the Minister for Foreign Affairs, you will not be there forever. There have been several ministers of foreign affairs before you became Minister for Foreign Affairs. So if you came to assign and append, tomorrow you will not be foreign minister. Somebody of a lucid disposition towards liberation of the African people will come and overturn that decision. But we will see you for who you are.
Absolutely.
That you are an economic profiteer of the misery of the people of Western Sahara.
Absolutely. I mean, beyond Africa, you also touched on UK and France as well in all of this conversation. What do you think they are given in return? What do you think Morocco is given in return for this very recognition at the expense of the people of Western Sahara?
Morocco has entered into an unholy alliance with Israel. Right? So in the Maghreb region, it seems to the United States, it seems to the United Kingdom, and it seems to France that once Morocco is dealing with their darling Israel and is not in conflict with the Israeli people, then the United States of America can then see Morocco as a confident country that they can deal with. And so therefore, they can be assured that American interest can be served when Morocco is there. And because that interest can be served, whatever Morocco is proposing, America wants to support it in order to maintain that interest within the Maghreb region, to ensure that they are able to contain the anger of the Arab nation against Israel. Who doesn't know what Israel is doing in Palestine? How come that the Arabs within that zone are unable to marshal themselves into a single force to deal with Israel at a go? But if you have people like the Moroccans, you have the likes of Egypt, Assisi, then you can be assured that within the Arab region, there is division. There are friends of Israel, that thereby extension becomes friends of America, friends of the United Kingdom, and friends of France. And why? If Spain has left, why did Spain leave? Why is the United States not interested in Spain coming back to annex Western Sahara? Why is the United Kingdom not interested in Spain taking over Western Sahara again?
Right.
Why is France not interested in Spain taking over Western Sahara again? Because everybody has accepted that colonization is a thing of a past. Decolonization and liberation is the true path. So if Spain has left, Morocco cannot become the new colonizer. And so it's amazing that forthright thinking people can just jump and say that no, we stand to gain economically. And so because of this economic benefit, that is why it is just because of Israel and the rapprochement that has been created within that zone that America is backing Morocco. And this is their plan, which plan is at variance with the United Nations' own position that let the people have their right to self-determination and not that of autonomy under Moroccan sovereignty. No.
Right. I mean, I see the passion that comes with when you speak about issues in relation to Western Sahara, and I mean the entire liberation of the African continent. But speak to us about the importance or the significance of the struggle of the people of Western Sahara, and how can we, as other African countries, also come together in the struggle and stand in solidarity with the people of Western Sahara?
The struggle for self-determination should be viewed in the fact that man has an inalienable right to life. And to the extent that you have an inalienable right to life, to health, to prosperity and all, the people of Western Sahara has the same. To the extent that apartheid is seen as an abominable thing that happened in the continent of Africa, and that we constantly condemn the apartheid regime for all the atrocities, for the denial of humanhood to the black of Africa. to the extent that colonialism took away the best and continued to take away the best of African resources to further the interests of the metropolis in Europe. So is the struggle for the true liberation of the people of West Africa, Western Sahara, a mandate for every African. Any country in Africa that has gone through the trials of struggles, whether it is under the assimilation system or the indirect rule or the apartheid regime, must know what it means to want liberation. And if we have gone through that, and we have partially liberated ourselves, despite that we are compromising ourselves in other forms, if the people of Burkina Faso today can rise up in arms to say that enough of French control over the resources of Burkina Faso, the people of Mali can rise up to say enough over the control of Malian resources by France, the people of Niger can rise up and say the same thing, then you can know that the people of Western Sahara will not sit down for Morocco to do what they think they want to do. If the entire Ghana decide to go and join with Morocco, but the people of Western Sahara will fight. And until their bones are rotten, as Asofo people will think, I am sure that one day, liberation will come to the people that will fight for it. And the people of Western Sahara have never shown timidity in their struggles.
Absolutely.
And they will fight. And I am certain that if they are fighting Morocco and they cannot get Morocco, they will start fighting the allies of Morocco. So Ghana should be ready that you have gone in for a fight that you may not be able to contain.
Right, thank you so much. But before I let you go, let me ask you briefly what you think that governments in Africa and other parts of the world should do in addressing or tackling this very worrying situation.
See, nobody can hold the freedom and liberties of another for long. And so, for that matter, Morocco must accept that you cannot have oversight over a people who say that we don't want your oversight. The Sahrawi people have insisted from day one, even when Spain was in authority, that they don't want an occupier to take over their land. You may think that they don't have what it takes, but they know that they will learn from their mistakes to become perfect. And that is the reason why when Western Sudan, Southern Sudan and Sudan were to be splitted, John Garang fought, they got their independence. How they are managing it is a different thing. Let the people of Western Sahara have, and let the African people realize that, as Kwame Nkrumah said, liberty will not descend onto a people must raise themselves onto liberty. I am convinced that as long as the people of the Sahrawi Arab Republic continue to raise themselves and to resist Moroccan occupation of their land, liberation will come. Let Africa and the rest of the world support these people so that their true self-determination and worth can be ascertained.
Indeed, liberation shall surely come for the people of Western Sahara with the support of the rest of the world. This is Africa Speaks, and we have been in conversation with a comrade, Bernard Mornah. Do I say comrade? Absolutely. Comrade Bernard Mornah is our guest, or was our guest for this segment of Africa Speaks, which is Expert Speaks, digesting issues in relation to Western Sahara and the very recent developments that has taken place.
Sad development. Why do you say recent? It's very sad development.
Absolutely.
That Ghana of all nations will compromise the independent struggle of the people of Western Sahara on economic and agricultural and investment gains.
Absolutely.
That is so sad, so shameful, so disgusting. In fact, it's so despicable that we should never have fallen into this trap.
I don't think anybody could have said it any better, or I don't think I could have put it any better than he already has. Thank you so much, Bernard Mornah, for making time to join us here on Africa Speaks, specifically Expert Speaks, which is where we get to hear from people like Comrade Bernard Mornah, who share with us their vast intelligence and perspectives of issues of global importance, especially in relation to Africa. Thank you very much for watching. The show continues. And that was our exclusive interview on Expert Speaks Powerful words from Bernard Mornah reminding us that solidarity is not a slogan, it's a duty and a call to action. We thank him for standing firm and speaking truth to power. It's now time to hear from the heartbeat of the continent, our voices on the ground. This is where we leave the studios, step into the streets, the markets, campuses and communities, and hear directly from the people whose voices too often go unheard. Across Africa, solidarity with the Sahrawi people is rising. From students in Accra to organizers in Bamako, from youth collectives in Johannesburg to activists in Algiers, they are speaking up against injustice and calling for the total liberation of Western Sahara. Let's listen to what our comrades and friends on the ground have to say.
The struggles of the people of Western Sahara is a struggle that the world, right-thinking people of the world, must support. The world must support because humanity is failing. Morocco has kept Western Sahara under strict colonization since 1974, thereabout. The UN General Assembly has passed a series of resolutions to even allow Western Sahara to decide its own fate and own its own land. But by the tacit support of the American government, the Spanish government, and the Western government, Morocco still occupies Western Sahara. My encounter with the people of Western Sahara took place during the COVID era in 2021. To be frank and sincere, they live under very inhumane conditions. Even education is a luxury in Western Sahara. I was in Dakar, and it's sad that the world is not speaking about it. And I know why the world is not speaking about it, because there is a total media blackout, and the West is dictating the narrative. The lion is not speaking or telling a story, so the hunter is telling the story for the lion. My people, people of Africa, people of the world, the right-thinking people of the world, it is time to rise and speak for the struggles of Western Sahara. The land belongs to them. The truth is that because of the resources they have and the benefits it alludes to the people of the West, US, and other oppressive and repressive regimes, they do not want to talk about it. But it is time to speak up. I remember I had an encounter with people who work with Oxfam and some of these NGOs, and I told them that they can be accounted as accomplices to the crimes that is being visited on the people of Western Sahara. Why do I say so? They have a voice to speak for the people of Western Sahara, but they are all quiet, and they are giving them aid. There is no better aid. There is no better aid, I repeat, than freedom. And the people of Western Sahara deserve our absolute support to get or to gain their independence and freedom. I slept in tents when I visited Western Sahara in 2021. It was a bizarre situation. I remember one night, the weather was very cold and my leg almost got frozen. So when I woke up, I was looking at kids and children in the community, and I was thinking that this is what these children have been going through for centuries. Why should it be so? Why is the world quiet? I think it is about time we actualize the dream, especially the people on this continent, West Africa and Africa. We actualize the dream of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and our forebears. It is not for nothing that during the eve of Ghana's independence, Osagyefo said that the independence of Ghana is meaningless until it is linked with the total liberation of the continent. As we speak, Ghana is not free. As we speak, Africa is not free. I'm not saying it is not free because other countries are being neo-colonial or they are being exploited through other means. But I'm saying that there is classical colonization going on in Western Sahara. The monarchy of Morocco is stealing the resources of the people of Western Sahara, killing them, high-handedness, making sure they don't get education. For someone to get education in Western Sahara, the person must be picked up by an NGO that has visited the territory to go to Spain or Algeria to go and study. Why should it be so in this day and age? Even water is being rationed in Western Sahara. This is the challenge we face. The world cannot continue to keep quiet. You and I, we cannot continue to keep quiet. It is about time we rise and speak for the people of Western Sahara. This colonization must stop. I am surprised that the AU, the ECOWAS, and all the bodies that you can find are quiet on this issue. And AU is even working closely with Morocco. Recently, I heard that the government of Ghana has shamefully had an agreement with the people of Morocco as against the decision to work with Western Sahara. It is unacceptable. It is a shame to the history. It is a shame to the struggles. It is a shame to what our forebears led by Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah did. And it is about time we revert to the position of true Pan-Africanism, seeing each other as a brother on this continent and working together and fighting against any form of exploitation, any form of imperialism, and any form of colonization. Because in the AU Charter, I am certain that it is stated that colonization is disbanded. We cannot continue to tolerate colonization. Yet AU is working with Morocco, which is the colonial masters of today's Western Sahara. Something that is bizarre. Something that Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah would have fought tooth and nail. It is about time we rise. Comrades, brothers, friends, right-thinking people of the world, my encounter with the people of Western Sahara has shown me that occupation in all its forms, like it's happening in Palestine and all other places, cannot be tolerated. We must stand up and speak. Today, it is Western Sahara. Who knows, tomorrow it could be your country. But it's important we come together and let Moroccans or the monarchy of Morocco know that enough is enough. They should back off Western Sahara and its resources.
It's important to underscore that the struggle for a free, independent, sovereign Western Sahara has been an ongoing struggle, especially based on the root of the former direct colonial, Spanish colonial rule that opted to auction the Western Sahara to the Moroccan king. This is important for people to understand that the roots of the Western Sahara are actually built on the colonization project and as an output of imperialist intervention in the African continent. So it basically brings out why it is important for us to actually stand shoulder to shoulder with the brothers and sisters, with the comrades and the heroic people of the Sahara, the heroic Sahrawi people, and even the Polisario Front, because it is a just struggle. The African people know the pain of colonialism. Kenya was colonized by British, same to other African countries. So it's important to stand in solidarity with the Sahrawi people on the clear understanding that the people of the Global South have rejected colonialism in its all manifestation. The other demands that also we need to, immediate demands, to underscore the importance of our unconditional and permanent solidarity with the Sahrawi people. What are these immediate demands? It's important to acknowledge that the return of what it is called calm, where calm only means death of the Sahrawi people, that the referendum that was pronounced by the special United Nations body that was meant to conduct the possibility of carrying out a referendum to make sure that the Sahrawi people can vote whether they want sovereignty or they want occupation by Morocco. The Moroccan government has continued to stand against this referendum, to give the Sahrawi people the most important right of self-determination to determine the course of their destiny. In return, the Moroccan government, the Moroccan king, have only escalated plunder of the Sahrawi national resources and exacerbated the human rights abuses. So it's important for the African people to stand in solidarity with the Sahrawi people.
Powerful voices from the ground as always, and a reminder that the struggle lives wherever people raise their voices for justice. Now we bring you movement news, your roundup of stories, actions and victories from progressive forces across the continent. These are the stories the mainstream won't tell you, but here on Africa Speaks we amplify the pulse of the people's movement. Our top stories this week. First, we cross over to Burkina Faso, where we hear all about the significance of World Environment Day from a Pan-African agricultural perspective. As climate change tightens its grips on our lands, it's our farmers, food producers and rural communities who feel it first. And they are also the front line of resistance and resilience. Next, a proud moment for the progressive camp, the official launch of the AES anthem. This is not just a song, it's a rallying call, a cultural weapon, and a symbol of unity for the Alliance of Sahel States. We'll unpack its meaning and the spirit behind its creation. And then we head to Zambia, where the Socialist Party has kicked off an inspiring literacy program aimed at empowering communities through education, political consciousness, and collective organizing. Because as Kwame Nkrumah taught us, the political independence of a people must be backed by the intellectual and social awakening of the masses. And then finally, we head to Kenya, where we focus on an icon, Ngũgĩ wa Thiong'o, a freedom fighter and cultural combatant from Kenya. His words have unsettled tyrants, inspired movements, and armed generations of Africans with the radical power of storytelling. He's a fearless writer, intellectual, and activist. Ngũgĩ's pen has always been a weapon against injustice. And that's what's happening in the movement. So stay tuned as we dive into each of these stories right here on Africa Speaks.
Pour parler de Thomas Sankara aujourd'hui, sinon, je dirais de son héritage, je dirais notre gouvernement actuel, le capitaine camarade Ibrahim Traoré, qui est à la tête du pays, ne fait qu'en réalité poursuivre l'œuvre, sinon la mission de Thomas Sankara. Si on prend l'exemple sur le plan environnemental, pour le mois de l'arbre, je dirais la journée nationale de l'arbre que nous aurons d'ici là, il a été prévu de planter 5 millions d'arbres en 1 heure. Quoi, pour vous dire qu'en réalité, comme Thomas Sankara l'avait dit, sinon donné une interview dans les années 83, je crois, demandant même que l'on puisse peut-être mettre ne serait-ce que 1% du budget de recherche dans l'environnement. Tout cela pour protéger l'Afrique contre, je dirais, la pollution, contre les effets de la dégradation climatique aujourd'hui. Et pour aller un peu dans le milieu, je dirais, de la défense des agriculteurs, des paysans, des producteurs, aujourd'hui, il faut dire que le flambeau est bien repris, parce qu'avec le secteur de l'agriculture, chez nous, le ministère de l'Agriculture, principalement avec son ministre Sombier, waouh, il travaille. Parce que imaginez-vous qu'on est dans un projet pour l'autosuffisance alimentaire, et ce le plus tôt possible. Et beaucoup de projets sont engagés. On a même ressuscité des anciens projets comme l'ONBA pour curer les barrages et pouvoir en fait, si vous voulez, mieux produire, mieux élever la production et lutter contre tout ce qu'il y a comme famine, comme faim, pour vraiment éradiquer tout ce qu'il y a comme faim. Donc pour parvenir à l'autosuffisance alimentaire. En plus de ça, imaginez-vous que malgré que nous soyons en guerre, les VDP, les forces de l'ordre, mais également avec, bien sûr, je dirais toute la population, on arrive à labourer de vastes champs, à labourer de vastes périmètres pour les pauvres paysans, pour les aider à pouvoir mieux produire. Et ça se fait actuellement au Burkina. Donc, pour vous dire que la dynamique est très bien enclenchée. Et pour celui qui soutient, sinon qui soutenait la révolution de Thomas Sankara, je crois que c'est le moment de joindre les rangs pour aider à ce qu'on puisse achever cette mission, non seulement pour la libération du Burkina, pour la libération de l'AIS, mais de toute l'Afrique tout entière. Voilà ce que j'ai en fait comme message à porter et par rapport à ce que nous sommes en train de faire ici actuellement.
On Monday, June 9, 2025, history was made in Niamey under the leadership of His Excellency Army General Abdurrahmane Tiani, President of the Republic of Niger. The anthem of the Alliance of Sahel States AES was officially performed for the first time. This momentous event held simultaneously in Burkina Faso and Mali marked a turning point in the struggle for African unity, sovereignty, and socialist liberation. Prime Minister Ali Mohamed Lamine Zain stood alongside national delegates and revolutionary comrades as the anthem echoed with pride and defiance. More than a song, the anthem was a declaration, a rallying cry for the working class people, for youth, and for all those who believe in a free and self-determined Africa. Speaking to Pan-African Television, Comrade Amina Hamani, National President of Revolutionary Movement of Pan-African Women of Niger, reaffirmed that the anthem carries the voice of the oppressed, the hope of the future, and the uncompromising will of a united people rising.
Donc, ce hymne du Sahel représente, pour nous les Sahéliens, ce hymne représente un symbole de rupture, un symbole fort de fierté, d'unité. Parce que il n'est pas sans savoir, de 2023 jusqu'à maintenant, 2025, ce qui s'est passé dans le Sahel, j'espère que tout le monde est au courant de ce qui s'était passé et ce qui est en train de se passer encore. Donc, ce symbole n'est pas juste un chant pour nous les Sahéliens. C'est un symbole de souveraineté, c'est un symbole d'espoir, c'est un symbole d'unité sahélienne. Et ce hymne aussi donne un message à l'ordre mondial que le Sahel n'est pas seul. Il trace juste la voie pour toute l'Afrique. Il trace la voie pour toute l'Afrique et montre à toute l'Afrique que nous sommes debout, nous sommes résistantes, nous sommes résilientes et encore un peuple, bien qu'il soit menacé, s'il est organisé, il peut être résistant et peut convaincre aussi. Donc, c'est hymne pour nous, les Sahéliens, est tout un symbole. C'est une fierté. On est debout pour aller de l'avant, pas pour aller de l'arrière. Et on défie quiconque, tous ceux qui pensent que nous, on est des incapables, on les défie. On défie tous ceux qui pensent que les Sahéliens, ce sont des incapables, ils ne peuvent pas faire ceci, parce qu'on pense que les peuples sahéliens, les pays sahéliens de l'AES, nous sommes les pays les plus pauvres Donc on ne peut pas aboutir, on ne peut pas atteindre nos objectifs. C'est pas vrai, c'est faux. Actuellement, on a tout ce qu'il faut. Et même si on n'a rien, on est déterminé pour atteindre nos objectifs. Donc, qui veut l'entendre, qui ne veut pas l'entendre, c'est pour nous, c'est un symbole. Il représente tout.
In the powerful voice of the anthem, the spirit of Pan-Africanism is not just remembered, it is reignited. The AES stands firm, born of resistance, driven by solidarity and committed to building a future where the wealth of Africa serves its people.
In Zambia on 19 May, the Socialist Party began a new chapter of its grassroots literacy program to empower people through reading and writing in the Mandevu constituency in Lusaka. This particular chapter will last 6 months with 98 students. The program, which began in 2019, is the product of concrete solidarity, a collaboration between the Socialist Party of Zambia and the Samora Machel Internationalist Brigade of Brazil's Landless Rural Workers Movement, the MST. The Socialist Party's adult literacy program was devised to address a pressing need. A survey in 2018 revealed that 1/3 of Zambia's women and 18% of men were illiterate, which meant that they could not read at all, People's Dispatch reported. In the country's Lusaka, Eastern and Western provinces, where the literacy program was first launched, 19.9%, 50% and 36.7% of women between 15 and 49 years of age, respectively, could not read at all. Illiteracy was especially rampant in rural areas where 45.8% of people could not read, as opposed to 19.4% in urban areas. Only 1% of women and 3% of men in the country's lowest wealth quintile had completed secondary and higher education. The Socialist Party's adult literacy campaign sought to tackle this crisis and has been well received in both urban and rural areas. It has covered 22 municipalities, initially in rural areas and moving on to the urban, such as Lusaka. Since 2021, over 4,000 people in urban and rural areas have become literate in Zambia's official language, English, as a result of the Socialist Party's program. In 2024, 350 people, the majority of whom were women, graduated as part of the program. The program is not just about reading and writing. Agroecology, communication, and popular health have all found a place in the curriculum. Brazil's MST provided seeds from Brazil for Zambian farmers to plant and grow. And it's not a one-way transfer of knowledge. The sessions are a learning experience for everyone, as they tackle the social and economic challenges of Zambia and develop solutions together. While Zambia has over 70 indigenous languages in which people are multilingual and even literate, the emphasis of literacy in English dates back to the colonial period and stems from the fact that English was incorporated into all areas of political, social, and cultural life in the country, and as such, deemed necessary for people to be able to access basic services, including education and healthcare. The development of the program in Zambia has an internationalist history. It shares and develops methods tried in Cuba, Brazil, Nicaragua, Venezuela, and Guinea-Bissau. It is born from the Yo Si Puedo, Yes I Can, adult literacy method developed in Cuba, a method that has helped over 10 million people across 30 countries become literate. The to talk, to read, to write, the words in the world method that has been implemented in Zambia is based on the idea of popular education, as advanced by Brazilian educator and philosopher Paulo Freire, and other methods that find their origins in Latin America. For the Socialist Party, the aim is to build huge resilience in society, the ability of the people to read and write, to have a certain level of
African.
Well, hello and welcome to this edition of Talk Time. And this week, we are going to be looking at the energy sector, specifically the Parliamentary Committee on Energy. Welcome to Talk Time.